What's up everyone, Vu of NVU Films, and I am back with another video. And I am feeling like complete 100% grade A trash today. I got something going on. I don't know if it's allergies. I don't think it's the Rona. I had one of those at-home tests, negative, but you never know. That crap might be just BS as much as this YouTube video is. With that being said, today I'm going to discuss my experience doing wedding photography. Yes, I know I'm a professional videographer. I am also I guess I could say I'm a professional photographer, but that's not really my bread and butter, and I have never actually did any wedding photography in my life. But it was my brother's wedding and he wanted me to do both. He asked me if I could do wedding videography and wedding photography. And of course, he's my brother. I'm not gonna say no. So I decided to do the photography and I hired a7IV, my usual second shooter for my wedding films, to do the videography. So it was just one photography shooter, my D-bag ass, and a7IV doing the video. And of course, he would just give me the video files and I'd edit it. But this is also the first time I had the opportunity to use my A7IV for extended photography usage and not just a B or C cam for my A7S III. But I do want to compare using this as a photography camera versus the A7S III beyond just the obvious megapixel difference. This one being 33, this one being 12. And of course, I'll be an absolute clown if I told you the A7S III was anywhere close to being as good as A7IV as a photography camera. And at the same time, there are plenty of other clowns out there on YouTube saying the A7IV is better than the A7S III for video. Those tube douchers are either one, high as hell on whatever, or they are just trying to sell the A7IV via their affiliate links because A7IV is actually in stock here and there and the A7S III is not. But that discussion is for another video entirely. Moving on. So what makes the A7IV better for photography than the A7S III other than just megapixels? It's the speed. This thing just feels faster in terms of the shutter, how many times you could, how many photos you can take without going into burst mode in terms of like you hit the shutter, it'll take a picture, hit the shutter, it'll take a picture, where the A7S III is just a tad bit slower and it is obviously noticeable. But that is about it, and that is the end of the video. But let me just quickly talk about the A7IV or the A7S III for wedding photography and what I recommend as someone with experience shooting a lot of weddings in terms of just video. But I've also seen a lot of photographers work, and after having my own experience shooting a wedding as a photographer, this is my preferences in terms of what lenses to use. What I packed with me was this Sony 35mm f1.4 G Master because I really like 35mm portraits, and you get some of the environment, and of course you get the subject, which is the bride and groom, in a very nice soft shallow depth of field with the f1.4 aperture. The other lens is this massive hung low Tamron 35 to 150 f2 to f2.8 during the ceremony, because I get these nice 35mm wides that look similar to my go-to lens for most portraits and prep, which is this 35mm. And of course, it could zoom all the way to 150mm, allowing you to get closer to the subject without getting in front of the guests, all up in the bride and groom's face during the ceremony, like many D-bag photographers I've worked with in the past. I don't care what you do during the reception dancing. I don't care what you do during prep and portrait sessions. I don't care what lens you use. You could be using a 5mm. I'll find my way to get a shot with my video. However, during ceremony, there's nothing I could do when you're all up there with a 35mm because you fail to know how to use a telephoto or whatever it is that you lack. Like, you know, you probably charge $5,000-6,000 for your photography. You can't afford to get a telephoto zoom. I don't know what's going on, but this was amazing lens for wedding ceremony and run and gun. And of course I use it for the general portrait session with family and friends, things of that nature, because of the versatility. I get that wide shot with the 35, and I get that nice 100 millimeter compression shot, and I could even get the 150 millimeter compression shot if I wanted to, all with this one lens. Yes, it is hefty, and yes, my back started to hurt, but honestly, it's probably because I'm 37 and I'm an old piece of trash. But, so those are my two most recommended lenses for wedding photography with the Sony A7 IV, A7S III, or any other Sony camera that you have. I also took along my 85mm f1.4, which I didn't use because of the way the portrait sessions were going, spacing. You know, they didn't have. It was a very small wedding. He didn't have a reception, so I ended up not using it. But I think normally, if I was a wedding photographer, I would do a 35 and an 85 during portrait session. Meaning, I'll probably have two bodies and probably two A7IVs with a 35mm and 85mm. In my case, it's a Sigma 85mm f1.4 DGD, and DN stands for D's Nuts lens. And I would, you know, do the nice 35mm environmental portraiture with 35, and of course with 85 I'll do those nice compressed soft f1.4 portraits that the 85mm is known for. With that being said, can you use the A7S III for wedding photography? Of course you could, 100%. It's all up to your skills. It's all up to what you know how to do. It's all up to your abilities. When I look at both the A7IV and the A7S III files as is, full resolution, I'm being quite honest with you, I really can't tell the difference between 33 megapixels and 12 megapixels. And as all of you know, if you have to crop in to recompose or whatever, yes, that is when you start seeing the 12 megapixels of the Sony A7S III degrade, because obviously there's a lack of resolution. You can always fix that with all these new software enhancements in Lightroom and Photoshop. I forgot what it's called, but pretty much it could like make your 12 megapixels like up to like 48 megapixels, something crazy like that. But even for this wedding, I actually didn't find myself cropping in and recomposing all the portrait shots that I did with 35. I was actually very happy with the way I composed them out of the box. And if I did do some recomposing, it was very minor. I didn't really go into it too much. It is definitely the recompositions cropping in that the 12 megapixels would be plenty for. So there was no concerns there. If all I had was the Sony A7S IIIs and I did not own an A7 IV, I would have gladly shot my brother's wedding with my A7S III for photography. And that is no BS. So my opinion is, if you have an ounce of talent and you weren't a piece of trash photographer, you could certainly shoot someone's wedding using the Sony A7S III. But at the same time, if you are a dedicated photographer, dedicated wedding photographer, obviously you should get the Sony A7 IV over, I think, any other camera in the Sony lineup, because in my opinion, the A7R4 and the A1 at 50 megapixels, 63 megapixels is way overkill. The files are massive for something like wedding photography where you're going to be taking a shit ton of photos. With that being said, I hope this video was interesting. I hope it was insightful, and I hope maybe it helped you make a business decision on deciding how to shoot your next wedding gig, what lenses I'd recommend to use for your Sony wedding photography. But with that said, guys, till next time, lighten up.
Hey man, what computer you use to edit?
I use a PC laptop.
Oh my god, you use PC? It's trash. You need to use the MacBook or the Mac with the M1 chip.
Well, it's been working fine for me.
No man, PC is trash. Apple is the best. Final Cut is the best for the Canon color shine.
Can you show me something you edited?
Let me show you. Hey man, it's so exciting today. I get my M1 MacBook delivered. I get to edit my Canon Color Shy and vlog so fast. But first, I will go to Starbucks. I get my coffee. And then I'll get my avocado toast and drink my cucumber juice. I almost forgot. I need to go to my appointment and get my 10 booster shot.
You needed all that M1 power to edit a vlog?
You want cucumber juice? Let me show you how to make